exposure extortion, and we've really seen this ramp up over the past year. This is where criminals are threatening to expose private or sensitive information unless you pay a fee. We've been talking about this for years, actually, ever since the Dark Overlord came out in, I think it was 2016, and started hacking school districts. And I've just been shocked to see how this has continued to take off. So let's look at some of this trend. This is the Karakurt hacking team's website. We grabbed this screenshot in the fall, but this is an example of how professional these criminals are getting. This is a data leak website. So an extortion gang has made this. You can see it's well-designed, commercial-grade technology. Most of these organizations have paid staff and consultants, and they're specializing in data theft and exposure. In fact, quite a few of these newer organizations are deliberately saying, we don't lock up your organizations. We just specialize in dumping data to the world. Here's some examples of the auction platform that many of them are coming with. They're also very good at communicating with the press. Some of them have log-on pages for the media. They have an early heads up for journalists. They build relationships with response teams as well. So here you can see they're doing press releases, things like that. So very mature business models. Here's a few other examples of data leak sites. Again, this is a trend. These are just a few. Matt, I know you had grabbed this earlier today. Ragnarok, I know, is popular. Conti, they're the offshoot of Ryuk, correct?
Yep.
And then Lockbit 2.0. So everybody's kind of shifting towards data leaking. Ryuk, of course, used to be very focused just on locking up data. And now, again, they have that data leak portal. And they call their victims clients. Very cute. So want to take this one, Matt?
Yeah, so the chart you see on the screen in front of you are the methods that actors are actually using to extort you. And this is a chart that came from Orange Cyber Defense, so the statistics are a little skewed towards what their clientele looks like, but it gives you a really good example of what this looks like. So we had groups like Revil, rest in peace, who are famous or infamous, I guess, for double extortion. We have Ragnarok, we have Lockbit, Hive Leaks, and you can see the amount of yellow on that chart really shows that double extortion is kind of the name of the game when it comes to ransomware or cyber extortion in general. If there's a way that attackers can lock up your files and hold you ransom with the threat of public exposure, they're going to have a lot better chance of getting some kind of financial recovery from that. And it's become basically the standard. I mean, what are we up to? About 90% of cases at this point involve ransomware and data exposure together. So obviously that's a trend that's going to continue. It's been proven to be profitable and effective. Attackers will keep doing it.
Yep. We're also seeing criminals build it into their playbooks. So we had the good fortune of getting our hands on the leaked Conti playbook. Conti, of course, is a infamous ransomware gang. And they have created a package of tools and guidance for all of the, quote, affiliates they work with. They have a franchise model, kind of like, Dairy Queen or whatever. So this is their what you're seeing on the screen is their package with different tools, with scripts that can be copied and pasted, and then guidance for what to steal. If you look at the bottom right, you can see it's translated from, I believe, Russian. So it's a little awkward, but they're saying we're interested in finance docs, accounting, I don't know what that third one's supposed to be, clients, projects, and so on. It all depends on what our target is doing. So they're giving the hackers, the boots on the ground, guidance on what information to remove, what data to pull out. And then they're also leveraging normal IT tools. Check out our clone there in the screenshot. We are going to see that in our case study in just a moment. Further driving this trend is the emergence of extortion as a service, and Marketo is a great example of this. Marketo has been around since about last spring, and they are a leaked data service. So if hackers steal data, they don't have to do the extortion themselves anymore. They can have Marketo do the dirty work. They hand it over, and Marketo will first attempt to sell it back to the victim, and then if the victim doesn't want to buy it, they will actually go and contact any affiliates of the victim, and you can see that in the next screenshot. They'll email competitors, they'll email customers, anybody that they think is appropriate. Here it says, hello, we're Marketo. We know you have a competitor, blah, blah, blah. So we would like to inform you we attacked them and downloaded quite a bit of data. We can give you the demo pack so you can see everything for yourself. So they're trying to get a competitor to pay them for it. They also do weekly notifications. And I believe this, Derek just grabbed, was it yesterday, Matt? or within the past, yesterday. So you can see, for some reason, I can't fully understand this. If any of you guys out in the audience have a theory, let us know. But they are actually sending weekly updates to these third parties, including regulatory agencies, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, the FDIC, the OCC, the NCUA, letting them know who has been hacked, who their victims are. They've also included media organizations as well, Bleeping Computer, SC Media, and they're putting their logos here, which I'm sure these partners do not want. But anyway, they're providing weekly notifications, so victims can't hide. They're included on these lists. So if the victim doesn't purchase their own data back, then the criminals will then start shopping it around. So you can auction. First, you have to create a login, which you see on the right, and there's like a CAPTCHA because it's pretty well secured. It has to be in the dark web. And then you can enter the amount that you want to bid for a particular victim's data. And so they're going to try to monetize it that way as well. So this is a very mature system. Hackers that break into networks and copy out data don't have to do the dirty work themselves. So let's talk about exposure extortion versus ransomware. If you want to deploy ransomware, that's a lot of work, honestly. Matt, you've deployed ransomware, right? You have to go get the ransomware.
Multiple times.
Yeah, what's involved in that? You got to go get the ransomware. You have to prime the environment to get ready to deploy it, especially if it's a large environment. You have to maintain the key and map that to the different victims. You have to go through the proof of life process, which means you have to provide customer support. And some of these victims really don't know what they're doing. I'm just kidding. And then you have to deliver on your promise. You have to help them decrypt their data because your reputation matters or people won't pay you. So deploying ransomware is actually fairly complex and technical, and it can require some investment of capital and also labor. Data exposure, on the other hand, is really easy. You go in, you steal the data, you can use normal IT tools which don't trip antivirus, and then you just say, hey, I'm going to publish this unless you pay me money, and there's even third-party sites that help you do that. So very easy, honestly, probably better ROI. So I anticipate we're going to see more and more exposure extortion over the next year. The bad news is with exposure extortion, there's some risk for the criminals because they have to publish this far and wide. And so we are seeing some law enforcement busts probably create some perceived risk in the criminal community. So that could help keep this in check. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, this is Sherry Davidoff, CEO of LMG Security.
And I'm Matt Duran, Director of Training and Incident Response for LMG Security. If you have any questions, please reach out at any time. We would love to hear from you. You can reach us at info@lmgsecurity.com, find us on LinkedIn, and follow us on Twitter. Thanks again for joining, and we'll see you next time.